Alright, so welcome back to the Driver's Hub, and today instead of making like our normal cinematic kind of reviews that we do, we wanted to do something more normal, like a living with kind of video, and we have the perfect car for that matter. We have the all new X1 facelift over here, and today we want to see how it fares against our normal daily chores that we do. So we have quite a few tasks today. We have to go and film something, we have to drop off a few things, and at the end of the day we're gonna drop this thing home again. So we have a lot of stuff over here to keep. Let's see how it. So unfortunately it does not have a automatic opening boot, but the boot is quite big for what it is. You can fit quite a lot of stuff in here. So as Shrestha is putting a lot of things in here. The tail lights have also been updated for 2021, so you get these new design inside with these OLED DRLs over here, so that looks kind of cool. No automatic closing boot as well, kind of a disappointment, but let's go and drive it now. You of course get puddle lamps, which I don't think you can see right now, and this is the interior. So I'm driving the new X1 to our first task, where we have to actually drop off a few walkie-talkies, nothing too major. And this is the steering wheel of the car. It is the older generation steering wheel, and I have to say it does not look that good. Like the newer BMW steering wheels are much more nice looking. This is not that great looking. It looks kind of old, kind of outdated. But it has some functionality. You have your cruise control stuff over here. You have your other volume up, down, call buttons, mode buttons and everything over here. You also get paddle shifters, but I don't know who's going to use paddle shifters in a family SUV. Fun fact, the thing over here, the instrument clusters over here, they're actually very similar to the instrument clusters you find in a BMW M2. Yeah, so one of BMW's best sports cars has a instrument cluster like this, which is kind of weird because I mean that's a full-on sports car and this is a family SUV, so I would not expect that in the M2, but in this thing it's cool to say that you have a instrument cluster from the M2. But apart from that, the interior is pretty classic BMW, very well made, but again, like I've said, it is a little outdated, so even this stuff over here in between, I mean, you won't find it on the newer BMWs. You'll have a big screen over here with a little bit more of a cleaner center console. You have the old style shifter as well, but you still get the iDrive scroller wheel over here, which is very simple to use with your hands while driving. This iDrive system is actually updated, so you get all of the almost all of the latest features. It's not the latest one, but it's pretty simple to use. You can do a lot of cool stuff. Show them the sports display now. Technology in action. Yeah, so you have your sports displays over here. Again, I don't know who's gonna use this in a BMW X1, but it's there nonetheless. It's there. You also have driving modes down over here: Sport, Eco Pro, and Comfort. I mean, I am a sporty guy, so I will drive it in sports mode, but trust me, it does not make any sort of change in the driving style of this car. The real way to do some sort of change in the driving style is by putting this thing over here into sports. So the shifts are a little bit more quicker. You get a little bit more of a responsive paddle, so that's a little bit cool, but I mean, again, it's really not anything drastic in terms of driving style. So now I'm in the back seats of the X1, and as you can see, I have pretty good leg room, like pretty decent, not going to be a problem over long journeys. But there is one complaint for the back seats. It's the angle of the seat, so it's quite upright, so you're going to be sitting at a very weird angle. That's the only major complaint. Apart from that, the back seats are pretty good to sit in the back. You have a massive panoramic sunroof over here, so that reduces claustrophobia. Don't mind this is just a little bit of bird shit over here. You have some lights over here, so if you wanna start them, you can start them by clicking that. Massive cubby holes over here, so you can keep big bottles and whatnot in those. Some nets over here to keep papers, documents, whatever you keep over here. Over here you have your AC controls. Well, not really an AC control, you just have this scroll wheel over here, so you can configure the amount of air coming from these vents. First of all, these vents are kind of weird because they're very low over here in the back, so it doesn't really hit you at the right spot, the AC airflow. So that's a big problem because it gets kind of hot in the back. You have two USB-C ports over here, and mostly this backseat experience is pretty decent. You have some nice wood trim over here with the ambient lighting strip over here. Quality and the luxurious feel in the back is pretty good, not too bad, but I would still think that this can be improved a little, and I'm sure when they come out with the newer X1 it'll improve by a large margin, because this car is quite old. Like, I mean, it's gonna get discontinued soon, and this is just like a midlife cycle facelift for it, like I've said before. So yeah, but still, for compared to the other cars in the segment like the Q3, GLA, Evoque, this is actually very spacious at the back for the money, because those cars are basically like 2+2s in the back. You can barely sit comfortably in the back, especially of the Q3 and the GLA. The Q3 has probably as much legroom as a Polo or something, and the GLA again something like a Polo or like a smaller sedan. So this is quite a lot of room for the money, and it is quite a lot of luxurious feelings for that sort of money as well. So in that way, the X1 is a really good deal right now.
Since this is the facelift version, BMW has done a few changes to the design. You get new LED DRLs in the headlights, which are more up to date in the current BMW lineup. Larger kidney grills to make sure it keeps up with the new breed of BMW X cars like the X7 and X5. On the side, it has some SUV traits in the design, but due to its not so tall stance, it still looks a little bit like a crossover. You get the Hofmeister kink, which is a very classic BMW design characteristic. The taillights have also been updated, like I've said, and the exhaust tips are also very real. In this orange paint, the X1 looks like a very premium car and looks like a car which is 20 to 30 lakhs more expensive than its actual punching range, which is a very good thing to have. Even though the X1 might be a few years old now, compared to its competitors, it is actually the best in the segment. It has the most space inside, best driving dynamics, and probably the most amount of quote-unquote usable features. Pair that with the build quality, looks and power of a BMW, you have a combination that is second to none. Thank you so much for watching this video. Like, share, subscribe. Comment down below what do you think about the BMW X1.